Everyone knew I had a system. That's why no one wanted to be captured by me on Christmas morning. I gave my mother a gift. She threw it into the trash without even looking. Don't waste your efforts on me, it won't work. When my father was attacked by a radical activist, I shielded him with my body. He pushed me into the knife. Aren't you trying to capture my affection? Taking a blade for me is the least you can do. I spent 6 months coding a VR game for my brother. He loved it, but bragged to his friends of course it's good, the system made it. You think Arya could code something this complex? Later I gave my secret diary to my childhood sweetheart. The boy I grew up with. He flipped through the pages sneering. What, you think a notebook is enough to capture me? Time ran out. I failed to capture anyone. The system coldly reclaimed my life. Just when I thought I had truly failed, that no one cared, that no one loved me, that cold system used its last reserve of energy to broadcast my memories across every screen in the city. She's dead. My mother touched my nose, her hand trembling. She stumbled back a few steps and collapsed onto the floor. Belief written all over her face. No, impossible. How could she die? My father and brother couldn't accept it either. They checked my pulse and breathing multiple times. Even though I had fallen from the balcony hours ago and my body was cold, they refused to believe I was gone. Because everyone knew I had a system. How could someone with a system die? This isn't our fault. My brother pushed my corpse away, his eyes red. She failed her mission. The system took her life. It has nothing to do with us. My father nodded frantically. Right. She failed to capture us. It's not our fault. We just didn't want to be manipulated. Blame her for being a monster. Blame the system. My mother covered her mouth, sobbing, but nodded in agreement. Arya, don't blame us for being cruel. Your love was fake. Just wanted to complete your mission and go back to your own world. Maybe it's better this way. At least now you're still here. You're still my daughter. My soul floated in the air, finally understanding why I had failed. They all knew I had a system, so they rejected my love, thinking it was just a calculated move to gain points. My heart ached to the point of suffocation. Despair failed me before I transmigrated here. I was an abandoned orphan. I thought being born into this world meant I would finally have a family. Turns out they just saw me as a monster hosting a parasite. For 20 years they never loved me. They guarded against me like a thief, played with me like a clown, giving me a sliver of affection only to stomp me into the mud. I really was a failure host. Systems called mechanical voice rang out. You are not a failure. And you are not unloved. A ball of blue light floated beside me, flickering. Reading host's memories. I froze. 0518. What are you doing? Stop. I order you to stop. The light bulb pulsated, and a smiley face appeared on its surface. Post 0518 is returning to HQ. Let me do one last thing for you. The light exploded, blindingly bright. Memory projection successful. The light scattered into millions of pixels, raining down on every electronic device below. No, don't please, I cried uncontrollably. It had used all its energy to broadcast my memories. Mom, Merry Christmas. The TV in the living room turned on by itself. On the screen, 10-year-old me held a gift box, handing it timidly to my mother, who was getting a manicure. My inner voice played over the speakers. I made these glass rabbit earrings myself. Mom will definitely like them. The system's cold voice retorted. Host, she is not a target. Why waste your effort? I huffed. I don't understand. She's my mom. She gave birth to me. I didn't have a mom in my last life. Now I do, and I'm so happy. The system rolled its virtual eyes. Sure, even though this woman never treated you like a daughter. As soon as the voiceover ended, my mother on the screen waved her hand, tucking the gift box into the trash. Don't waste your efforts on me. It won't work. Her eyes were devoid of warmth. Go play somewhere else. Don't disturb me. The manicurist looked at me awkwardly, then wiped off a smudge on my mother's nail. I stood there stunned. Then tears began to fall. See, I told you not to waste time on her. She's cold-blooded. No, I'm not. Outside the screen, my mother screamed. Who? Turn on the TV. Turn it off. Turn it off. She yanked the power cord, but the TV kept playing. Mom, what did I do wrong? Why do you hate me so much? Little me couldn't help but ask why. I remembered when I was born. She loved me. She said she'd give me the best of everything. But something changed. Her love vanished, replaced by hatred. Host, stop wasting time on this woman. She's not worth it. Shut up. Didn't I'm not. My mother's face was a mix of colors. But I noticed something. She was more angry than guilty. Probably because the system said she wasn't a target. She was proud. She couldn't accept being irrelevant to the mission. What is going on? My father's face was dark. He grabbed a vase and smashed the TV screen. It finally went black. Just then his assistant called. Mr. Vance, it's bad. A video is being broadcast across all platforms. Views have already hit 100 million. Such high views weren't just because of the system. My mother was a famous retired actress. People cared about her life. What impossible. My father's eyes filled with murderous intent. Arya was so dependent on her mother. How could she do this after death? Find out who is behind this. My mother found her phone. It was blowing up with calls from her agent and PR team. Her social media was flooded with hate comments. Wow. The great actress acts like a diva, even at home, speechless. That's her own daughter, even if it's scripted. That's too cruel, Arya. I want you dead. The mother I relied on, seeing her reputation crumble, grabbed a vase and smashed it onto my corpse. My heart seized in pain. Mom, I'm already dead. Even if you smash me into paste, I won't die again. Enough. My father pulled her away. You've been retired for years. It doesn't matter. But he didn't expect the video to cut to him when I was 16. My father was targeted by a radical activist with a knife. In the video, my father was pushed to the ground. The man stabbed him in the leg. My mother and brother screamed and ran, trying to get as far away as possible. It was me. I was shaking with fear. But I rushed forward and pulled the attacker away. Dad, are you okay? My face was young, streaked with tears and snot as I called 911 ambulance. My dad is before I could finish. My dad used his good leg to kick me. I stumbled right into the attacker's path. The knife went through my shoulder. My father's pupils constricted as he watched the screen. He muttered to himself, "Aren't you trying to capture me? Taking a blade for me is only right." Yes, it's only right. I ignored his mumbling. I only heard the system's panicked voice, "Host, quick, quick. Use points to buy the healing spray." I endured the pain, sighing in relief only when the attacker was subdued. "No," I said, "points are low. Save them." For Dad's leg, the system was furious. "The points he provides aren't even worth the cost of the spray. You are wasting resources in the chaos." I sprinkled the healing powder on my dad's wound, my face pale. 0518, you don't understand. He's my dad. He was my dad. My hard-won family. What child doesn't love their parents? I always believed they didn't like me because I wasn't good enough. Because I was weird, so I tried so hard, not for the mission, but because they were my blood. I never imagined they hated me enough to wish me dead, just because I had a system. They treated me with the utmost malice. The comments were exploding. The incident where the CEO of Vance Corp was stabbed had been huge news. Everyone realized this wasn't CGI, it was real footage. WTF. You pushed his own daughter into a knife. Is he human? As a mother, I can't watch this. He's an animal. She gave him the only medicine she had, and he did that. Even a stranger deserves better. So what if she has a system? The family benefited from it. These people should rot in hell. My father threw his phone to the ground. Haven't you found the source? Yet even now he was just angry, not panicked. Until the video cut again, showing a sweet, cute girl. My father's face changed instantly. Pay them whatever they want. Take the video down. He looked at my corpse with red eyes, wanting to kill me all over again. I could mess with them, but touching their precious darling, they would fight me to the death. Even though I knew this, my heart still ached. My parents weren't incapable of love. They just didn't love me. They loved someone else's child. In the video, the girl skipped into my mother's arms. "Annie, Bella, I've missed you so much." My stoic father smiled. "Oh, so Bella doesn't miss Uncle. Guess I can't give you this sapphire bracelet then." Bella's eyes lit up. "I miss Uncle the most." My brother pulled out a gift box. "Oh, you miss Uncle the most? Then this limited edition LV bag." Bella turned and hugged my brother Ethan. "Bella misses you every day." My mother giggled. "This child is incorrigible." I hid in the corner like a stray cat watching a house cat's happiness. Bella was my cousin and the protagonist of this world. "Shut it down. Shut down the entire power grid if you have to." My father roared, veins bulging in his neck. He lunged for the remote, but his hands were shaking so violently he dropped it. On the screen, the video continued mercilessly. The scene wasn't a sweet family gathering. It was a hospital room from 3 years ago. The caption generated by the system read, "The kidney transplant, truth versus perception." In the video, Bella lay in a VIP hospital bed, looking pale and fragile, clutching a stuffed bear. My mother was weeping by her side, stroking her hair. "My poor Bella, you're so brave." "I don't want Arya to hurt, Auntie," Bella whispered, her voice like spun sugar. "If she gives me her kidney, will she be okay? Maybe I should just die." "Nonsense." My father's voice boomed in the memory. "Arya is healthy. She has the system. She can regenerate organs. You need this to live." The camera panned to the corner of the room. I was sitting there, 16 years old, looking terrified. The system's blue light hovered near my ear, invisible to them but audible in the broadcast. "Host, do not do this," 0518 warned, its mechanical voice laced with anxiety. "The regeneration module costs 50,000 points. You only have 50,005. If you use this, you will have no shield against the necrotic backlash. You will be in agonizing pain for years. I have to. Teenage me whispered back. Bella is dying. If I save her, maybe they'll finally see I'm not a monster. Maybe Dad will hug me like he hugs her. The scene jumped forward. The surgery was over. Bella was surrounded by flowers and gifts. I was in a small, sterile recovery room, alone.
No flowers.
No visitors. I was curled into a ball, sweating profusely. The pain was evident on my face. Warning. Pain receptors overloading. The system beeped. Host, purchase a painkiller? I can't. I gasped, clutching the incision site. I have no points left. I spent them all on the premium match compatibility, so Bella's body wouldn't reject the kidney. Just then, the door opened. My mother walked in. I looked up, eyes filled with hope. Mom, stop acting, she snapped, tossing a bag of cheap fruit onto the side table. Bella is in pain because the incision hurts. And here you are, perfectly fine, probably using your cheat codes to numb yourself. You selfish thing. Why didn't you use your points to make Bella heal faster? I didn't have enough, I stammered. Liar. She turned on her heel. Don't come to Bella's room. You bring bad luck. The screen went black for a second, then displayed a medical report that had been deleted from the hospital archives. Patient, Bella Vance. Diagnosis, minor infection. Kidney function, 100%. Patient, Aria Vance. Diagnosis, chronic nerve damage, incomplete regeneration. Permanent heavy metal poisoning from force system override. In the living room, silence reigned. The silence was heavier than the grave. My mother, who was currently clutching my cold hand, froze. She looked at the screen, then at my lifeless body. She was in pain, she whispered, but she never cried. She never said anything. I told you, I said, my soul hovering near the ceiling, my voice unheard. I told you it hurt. You said I was being dramatic. My father's face was gray. The comments on the live stream were scrolling, so fast they were a blur. They took her kidney and treated her like trash? Wait, she used her system to ensure the cousin survived, and they scolded her for not doing more? The mother, she looked at her own child in agony and called her selfish. I'm gonna be sick. Hashtag Justice for Aria is trending #1 worldwide. The broadcast didn't stop. It was relentless, fueled by 0518's final sacrifice. No more, my brother Ethan groaned, covering his ears. I don't want to see. You will see. The system's voice boomed from the speakers, overriding the audio. You will see what true genius looks like. The screen shifted to a dimly lit room. It was 2 years ago. The timestamps showed it was 3 a.m., then 4 a.m., then 5 a.m., night after night. I was sitting in front of 3 monitors, my fingers flying across the keyboard. Code cascaded down the screens, complex, beautiful algorithms that formed the backbone of Etheria, the VR game that made Vance Corp billions. Ethan walked into the room in the memory, holding a cup of coffee. He looked fresh, well-rested. Is the physics engine done yet? He asked, sipping his drink. Almost, I rasped. My eyes were bloodshot. I coughed, covering my mouth with a handkerchief. When I pulled it away, there was blood. Host, your vitals are critical, 0518 warned. You need sleep. Your brain is operating at 140% capacity. You risk a stroke. Just a little more, I muttered to the air. Ethan needs this for the expo. If it's not perfect, he'll be humiliated. Who are you talking to? That creepy ghost of yours. Ethan sneered, leaning over my shoulder. Make sure the water rendering is realistic. And don't put any bugs in it to sabotage me. I wouldn't, I said softly. I want you to win, Ethan. The scene shifted to the launch gala. Ethan stood on stage, bathed in applause. I worked on this engine for 6 months, Ethan told the reporters, flashing a charming smile. It was a labor of love. Every line of code came from my heart. I was standing in the shadows backstage, watching him. I looked like a ghost, thin and frail. My father walked past me. At least you didn't embarrass him by coming on stage. Stay back here. You look sickly. It's bad for the company image. The live stream comments turned vicious. Ethan Vance didn't code shit. He stole his dying sister's work and mocked her for it. I played Etheria. That code is a masterpiece. To think she wrote it while dying. Boycott Vance Corporation, burn it to the ground. Ethan fell to his knees in the living room. It wasn't like that, he stammered, looking at his phone. His social media, once filled with praise, was now a cesspool of hatred. Doxers had already released his phone number. She wanted to do it. She liked coding. She liked you. 0518's voice cut through the room, cold and final. She hated coding. She did it because you failed your computer science finals and were going to be disowned. Ethan's face went white. He remembered the threat of disownment, the begging. He had begged me to help him. And now, the world knew. The screen flickered again. This time, the location was a high-end cafe. A handsome young man sat opposite me.
Julian.
The boy I had loved since I was 5. The boy who promised to marry me before the system arrived, before everything changed. I slid a leather-bound notebook across the table. Julian, take this. Please. He looked at it with disdain. What is this? Another love letter? Arya, I told you. I'm not interested. Bella she's different. She's real. You're just artificial. It's not a love letter, I pleaded. The Storm Cloud merger. It's a trap. The CEO is embezzling funds. If you invest next week like you plan to, you'll lose everything. The proof is in here. Please, just read it. Julian laughed. A harsh, barking sound. He picked up the notebook and tossed it into the nearby trash bin. You think I'd take business advice from you? You just want me to owe you a favor, so you can capture me. He stood up, adjusting his suit. Stay away from me, Arya. You creep me out. I sat there as he left. After a long moment, I walked over to the trash can, retrieved the notebook, and dusted it off. Host 0518 said gently. He is not the target anymore. Let him fail. I can't, I whispered. I love him. The video fast-forwarded. Julian's company losing millions. Him raging in his office. And then a timestamp from just yesterday. Julian was watching the broadcast. The camera feed seemed to be coming from his own laptop webcam. The system had hacked everyone. We saw Julian in real time, sitting in his office, watching the memory of himself, throwing away the notebook. He looked down at his desk. There, under a pile of documents, was that same notebook. He had retrieved it from the trash that day, not out of trust, but out of curiosity, and then forgotten it. He opened it now. His hands trembled. Page 1. The merger fraud details. Page 2. A list of traitorous board members who would betray him in 2025. Page 3. A gentle note. Make sure to eat breakfast, Julian. You get migraines when you don't. Julian let out a guttural scream, clutching the notebook to his chest. He realized that every success he had in the last year, every lucky break, was me anonymously fixing things for him. Arya, he shouted at his screen, tears streaming down his face. I didn't know, but I was dead. And his apology was just noise in an empty room. My family was huddled together in the living room, broken, terrified. They couldn't turn off the TV. They couldn't unplug the internet. The world was watching their sins.
Why?
My mother sobbed, rocking back and forth. Why are you doing this to us, Arya? We're your family. The system spoke, its voice losing its robotic edge and sounding almost human, is exactly why. Final memory, the fall. The screen showed the balcony. It was this morning. It was snowing. I was standing by the railing, looking at the city. I looked peaceful. I had accepted that I failed the mission. I was ready to leave this world and accept the system's penalty. Then the glass door slid open. Bella walked out. She wasn't smiling. Her face was twisted with a malice that didn't match her sweet reputation. So, you're finally leaving? Bella asked, stepping closer. Yes, I said without turning. You won, Bella. They love you. They hate me.
Take them.
I'm done. It's not enough, Bella hissed. As long as you're alive, they might realize the truth one day. Dad might check the DNA test again and realize I'm not his biological niece, but a fraud. Mom might realize who actually paid off her gambling debts. I turned around, shocked. You faked the DNA test. With a little help, Bella smirked. You have a system. Did you think you were the only one with advantages? She pulled a small, black device from her pocket. It hummed with a dark, violet energy. An anti-system jammer. My system is designed to steal luck, Bella whispered. And I've drained yours dry, cousin. She lunged. She didn't just push me. She used the device to shock me, paralyzing my muscles. I tipped backward over the railing. As I fell, I saw my father and brother running onto the balcony. Bella, my father shouted. Bella immediately dropped the device and screamed, reaching out a hand as if to catch me, but deliberately missing.
No.
Arya, don't jump. I can't save you. My father reached the railing. He looked down. He saw me falling. And for a split second, our eyes met. I saw relief in his eyes. Relief that the monster was gone. Relief that the problem was solved. He turned to Bella, hugging her. It's okay, sweetie. It's not your fault. She was unstable. The screen went black. The silence in the living room was shattered by the sound of the front door being kicked open. Police. But not just police. The FBI. The press. An angry mob was forming outside the gates. Bella Vance, an officer shouted, guns drawn. You are under arrest for the murder of Arya Vance and fraud. Bella, who had been hiding in her room upstairs, was dragged down the stairs in handcuffs. She looked at my parents, her eyes wild. Uncle, Auntie, help me. It's a lie. The video is deep fake. My father looked at her. Really looked at her. He saw the resemblance to the man who had stabbed him years ago, the man Bella had hired to stage the attack so she could play the victim, a plan I had ruined by saving him. You. My father pointed a shaking finger at her. You aren't my brother's daughter. No, Bella spat, her sweet mask gone. Your brother died penniless. My mother was his mistress. I came here to take what you owed him. And I would have had it all if not for that bitch and her glitched system. She was hauled away, screaming obscenities. The aftermath was swift and brutal. Vance's corpse stock dropped to zero within 48 hours. The board ousted my father. The assets were frozen. The house, the mansion where I was never welcome, was seized. My mother, unable to cope with the loss of her fame and the crushing guilt, suffered a nervous breakdown. She spent her days in a state-run facility, clutching a doll, calling it Aria, and trying to feed it invisible food. Eat, Aria. Mommy made this for you. Don't throw it away. Ethan tried to find work as a coder, but the industry blacklisted him. Every time he sat at a keyboard, he saw my blood on the keys. He ended up working manual labor, a shell of his former arrogant self. Every Christmas, he sits in the dark, playing the unreleased beta version of a game I made for him when we were kids, crying until he passes out. Julian used his remaining fortune to start the Aria Foundation, dedicated to helping neglected children. He never married. He kept the diary in a glass case in his office. He speaks to it sometimes, begging for forgiveness that never comes. My father, he ended up the worst. He lives in a small, squalid apartment. He spends his days rewatching the broadcast, which someone archived online. He watches the moment I took the knife for him. Over and over again. She loved me, he mutters to the empty whiskey bottles. She really loved me. He died alone during a harsh winter, freezing to death because he couldn't afford heating. In his frozen hand, they found a picture of me. Not the teenager he hated, but the 5-year-old girl who once looked at him like he was a superhero. Host 0518 energy depleted. Backup reserves at 0%. The blue light that had been projecting the memories finally faded. The world went quiet. My soul stood in the wreckage of the living room one last time. I saw my broken family, but I felt no satisfaction.
No joy.
Just a heavy, weary sadness. It's over, I whispered. A warm, white light began to form behind me. It wasn't the cold blue of the system. It was something ancient, something kind. Aria, a soft voice called. It wasn't 0518. It was warm. I turned. Standing in the light was 0518, but not as a ball of light. It had taken a form of a young child, holding out a hand. The mission was a failure, 0518 said, smiling. But the life lived was not. You loved. You sacrificed. You were true. That generates a different kind of energy. Energy that the HQ cannot measure. Where are we going? I asked, taking the child's hand. Home, 0518 said. Not to a mission. Not to a struggle. Just home. I looked back at the world one last time. At the people who realized my worth only after I was gone.
Goodbye, I said.
I forgive you. Not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace. We walked into the light. The snow on the balcony stopped falling. The sun broke through the clouds, shining on the spot where I had died. A single, small flower pushed its way through the crack in the concrete, blooming against all odds in the bitter winter cold. It was a forget-me-not. And for the first time in 20 years, the city was warm.